everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the ladybug video. So this is our progress right now, and what we're going to do is get to the gluing. So beside me I have just a scrap magazine that I can do my gluing on. I have a couple of the pieces that I may use. I may want a couple more pieces of color in here. I haven't decided yet. And I also have my trusty glue stick. So I use the Elmer's washable school glue stick, the purple stuff. And how I normally do my gluing is I clear off my space beside me. Sometimes I don't completely do that. You'll see in some of my videos, I push it to the side and then some of the pieces get mixed in with some of the scraps. So I'm trying to be more mindful of how things look on camera. So sorry, the screen door just closed automatically. It freaked me out a little bit. So what I normally do is, because collaging is layers, you want to move the top layer of stuff off of your canvas. So I still have my collage pretty much built over to the side, but now I have enough room that I can see what my main base layers are that need to get stuck in here. And my kitty cat, Bella, just woke up, so she may be making an appearance here soon. All right, so what I need to stick down first are these pieces of taco. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my glue. And because these boards require a lot of glue, I tend to slather it on quite thickly. And sometimes I'll also put a little bit of glue on the board just to make sure that I get a good stick. And this one's already out of glue. So I grab another one. Quick draw. All right, let's grab this piece. And then what you want to do is, or what I do, is I leave a little bit of an overhang and then you press it down, and this is called burnishing. Okay, and I want this next piece here. And all the burnishing does is it gets out the air bubbles. You'll see on some of my pieces that I accomplish it better on some than I do on others, especially if it's a really big piece that I'm trying to lay in one piece. Sometimes I'll snip that into several sections, but if I want like that nice cohesive look, sometimes there's a few air bubbles. So you can't be perfect. There are no mistakes in collage, so just go easy on yourself. Remember, this is supposed to be fun, right? So the next piece that I'm gonna lay is, I think, this little green one here, because if I lay over this here, I don't know if I have enough. I'm just looking to see if I have one of those magazines. 2 seconds in and I'm already looking for more avocado. Or I could use apple just to fill in a couple of those pieces here. It's the right shade of green, so I left it out there. Awesome. I love the gluing process. I don't love getting glue on my fingers, so if you notice that there's jump cuts in the footage, it's just because I'm getting up to wash my hands, because they're going to get all stuck with glue. So I'm just going to chop this puppy in half, and then that gives me a little bit of extra green to fit in here. I might be able to get a couple more. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out this part right here. Grab my magazine. try to get it up as close as I can. You'll find you go through a lot of glue. You know, there's no special technique or anything that I use in particular, but I do tend to use a lot of glue. I don't want it to lift. I also don't finish my collages with with decoupage or anything like that, goop, Mod Podge, whatever you use. I find that it ruins it. So, I mean, everybody has their preference. I like the look, the feel, the textures. I like to be able to see the layers of paper. You know, so if you ever buy a collage for me, an original, you know, it will be quote unquote unfinished. But I think that really lends itself to the folk aesthetic. And the intention for my pieces, at least, are for them to be framed under glass anyway. So, yeah. There we go. Okay, so with just a couple of apples and a little bit of avocado, I've managed to fill in that little gap while still allowing me to have that arch. Because if I went right up to the top, then I would lose that bit of visual interest there. So I'm just lining this up, trying to see how I'm going to do this. So what I might actually do is trim this into a straight line and use this as my top instead of, yeah, I think that looks good. I'm just going to do more of a wing-like thing here. Right. So what I try to do as well is not stick it on the glue that I just used on the last picture, which I said I didn't want to do and I just did anyway. Yeah, because it tends to make a giant mess and could lift the color off of your image. All right, so get a little bit of steak action, or no, this is chicken, forgot. The other thing to remember is that even though I cut out all of these images and I arranged them in a way that I thought looked nice, you may not use all of the images that you've chosen for your picture. So just by looking at the dimensions here, I have all this chicken and all this steak that I cut out, but I may not actually need it or need as much of it. So before I paste this piece of avocado down, I want to take a look and see the proportion of other stuff in the picture. So I have my macaroni, and then I have my eggs, my peaches. So if I want my peaches to fill in this space, how far down does the avocado have to go? So that's that. So I know I need to move this down to be able to get it covered by this. Here. Is there another piece? There was. So that should do me there. So the avocado can come down to about here because we have these other pieces of avocado. There. Okay, so I'm gonna move these and then paste this. Crank up my glue. Trying to make sure I get it in where I wanted it. See, it's a little tricky with these bigger pieces. There are no mistakes, although I make them on the regular. All right, so I didn't wreck it, which is good. There's a piece of glue under there, which is a bummer, but that's okay. Okay, so on camera, you can probably see that there's a little bit of bubbles, but it's okay. Some of that's going to be covered up anyway. And yeah, I'm happy with how it's looking. Okay, so we want to fill in, oops. I want to fill in this area here. Oops. This one's also empty. Going through a lot of glue sticks today. I try to use them up till they're done, so oops. So all I'm doing is trying to fill in that with some soil colored chicken. This one looks pretty cool. I could add that maybe right up there. There we go. So there's that area there. Now we have some avocados, and then I also have this here. Just looking for another, oops, sorry. Looking for another piece of, actually, I could just take some of this. Just because I might need just a little bit right down there. So I'm just looking for my spacing here. Some green there. And I also need, I'm just thinking, maybe I could just do that. Okay, so I'm just going to move this not quite all the way down because I'm still kind of building out the background. I thought I had most of it, but don't be afraid to go back and add colors or add sections if you need to. I'm really liking how this is looking so far. So these ones I'm going to keep for just a second, and I'm going to start pasting the peaches, I believe. I really love how this is looking. This is one of my favorites I've done in a while. So I'm glad that you're all along on the journey with me. If you like this video, please subscribe. I know this type of format isn't for everybody, but those of you who love this kind of collage with me, artist experience, I really enjoy spending this time with you. You know, it's hard to explain creativity to other people, but hopefully by kind of seeing how the process goes, especially because my work is so iterative, yeah, I hope you're inspired. I hope you go out and get some magazines and some construction paper or cardboard or some hardboard canvases like what I use, and just go for it. Let your imagination go crazy. I think you'll be amazed how fun it is. Oops. Again, just burnishing it down. Probably could have put a bit more glue on that. That's okay. glue's getting kind of gloppy. Looks pretty good. I think I can probably pull it a bit more over. Ah, shoot. This is me being a perfectionist and then I end up making a mess. That's okay. That's the good thing about collage. Ah, crap. There's a little bit of lift there. I might be able to put something on top of there, so that's okay. All right. Okay. I might actually bring this up a little. Need a little bit of yellow. I happen to have a chunk here. It's not apple picture. Okay. Let's clean off my glue stick here. Gross. Okay, so we're almost done the base layer. So I'm going to start looking at this guy here and align that, because this guy's going to go on top. So I want to make sure that my avocado is covering everything it needs to cover, but still popping out enough that I can see all of the blades of grass. Or blades of avocado, I suppose. All right. Sorry, the glue's getting gloppy. All right, so try to line that up with the macaroni. That looks pretty good. So we have our fries. So I have these 2 pieces of avocado. I'm gonna wait to put those down because it's gonna go in this sort of area here. And I want to make sure that I'm building enough interest over there. So I have this pasta. I don't know if we're gonna need that. Although it does add a little something. And remember, you're always building from the bottom up. So, you know, the hardest part of collage really is remembering the layering and remembering what position you want your stuff to go in. And I've messed that up more times than I can count. Because sometimes you just get so into the fun of the gluing and stuff, and I'm really loving how this is starting to look like kind of, I don't know, pieces of twigs and stuff. It's really cool. All right, so I'm going to look and see how I can make this the most visually interesting. I think it's probably something like this. So I'm just gonna be very careful because there's all the little fry ends. And I know if you ever rip off a piece of your collage, the beauty of it is you could always glue it back on. But it's always easier not to do that. I did it this way because I want as many of the spiky bits poking out as I can, because it just looks more interesting. Because this way I only have two little spikes on this side to cut off, whereas if I had oriented it the other way, I would have lost all of the pieces that I spend so long cutting out. All right, so that's a perfect little nest for our ladybug. And now I want to put this one down here. Doesn't really matter what way it goes on, I just have to make sure that I'm covering everything I need to cover up. And that looks really good, if I do say so myself. And then I'm gonna put this one, I think, just down here. And it looks like I totally forgot to put in the cantaloupe, so I might try to squeeze it in down here. That's a bummer. I was excited to use that. So remember when I said you have to remember layering? Sometimes you just forget. So, c'est la vie. All right, so the next big guy is going to be him, who is protecting his lair and his eggs. So pop that right on there. Trying not to rip off, oops, any of his legs. Pretty cool. Okay. So now I'm thinking that I want to start building out the little ladybug nest. So we do something like that. Try to use up all my glue, even when the tops pop off. Okay, so there's the bugs. This one. All right, now we were gonna do cinnamon buns, but I need to place back down my avocados. So Sorry, I'm just thinking. The silence. Yeah, I'm just thinking. All right, so what I'm going to do now is take these little buns and do a little trail of buns from the nest. Okay. Something like that here. Need a new glue stick. Yay, a new one. Oops. All right. Liking the way that that's looking now. I have just this guy here, and I might do this little guy kind of like breaking out or something. Or like jumping off, maybe that's what I'll do. Jumping off the branch. Or the twig, the nest. And then the big one over there. we go. And I had, sorry, I'm still wondering how I can sneak this in. Let it go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, the only other thing is just this here's bugging me. So I'm wondering if I just let it go, or I might be able to put a couple of, that's what I'll do, a couple of ladybugs. I don't like having unfinished edges in my work. I know it's a little tedious, but in one of my other videos I mentioned that if I'm not 100% happy with how something looks or how it's turned out, I'm not just going to finish it just for the sake of finishing it. You know, I really take a lot of pride in the work that I do, and if it takes me 4 hours to do a collage, that's just how long it takes me. I knew these would come in handy. There we go. And that to me just finishes that one particular area off, adds a little bit more color, and that should be our collage, guys. And then I'll trim off the edges and sing a happy tune, because this one took a long time. But I had a really good time making it. I hope you all enjoyed coming along on this ladybug journey with me. Again, if you like this video, please subscribe. The only social media that I use is Instagram, so if you're on Facebook or anything like that, I would really appreciate any sharing that you do. Spread the word. I have been told by one of my friends that my videos are excellent for when your child is having a temper tantrum. So if that ever happens, just pop it on, and I mean, it couldn't make it any worse, I don't think. Maybe, but I have it on good authority that it was very helpful. All right. So all I'm gonna do now is trim off the edges and go take a nap. So I have just a flexible mat board and my little artist scalpel, and all I'm gonna do is just flip this puppy over. Oh, I left a bun. No bun left behind. Where's my... Just when you think you're out, the insects pull you back into their egg den. Where should this one go, guys? Ooh, maybe down here, maybe between his pincers. Maybe he got one. He's protecting his own while simultaneously feasting on the harvest of others. Ha. All right. So get my trusty scalpel and I just flip it over. And the great thing about doing it this way is that you don't have to worry about any overhang as you're going. You can just trim it off at the end. It's easier said than done, I guess, eh? There we go. And if you could hear my cat snoring in the background, it's hilarious. He's such a big fluffer. And I thought the cats would be more active participants today, but they're having a siesta. Which is good from a productivity standpoint, but a little less entertaining for you guys, I think. one more side. There we go. All right. So this is awesome. I'm really happy with how this turned out. So upon closer reflection, we have the poultry section up here. Then we have some fries, some buns, some pasta, some beans, pomegranate, mac and cheese, some, what's that called? Rejuvenate, olive eggs, some little ladybug eggs, peaches in the dark recesses of the cavern there, and an avocado backdrop. I think it looks really cool. So I really hope that you've enjoyed your time that you've spent with me, and I appreciate everybody's support. I love collage, and I hope that by watching these videos, your love of collage grows as well. So thank you for joining me here on Songbird Collage Arts, and we'll see you next time. Take care.